when you're like truly in the zone and like you start going hard, that's like all you're doing. It's just like, because and it's not you cutting people off. I mean, call it the universe, call it God. You are operating in a different vibration, and you're like at a completely different frequency, different cadence than all the people around you, and then you don't have things to talk with them about anymore.
I'm a former athlete, small business owner, and serial entrepreneur. The goal of the podcast is to help entrepreneurs grow your network, scale your business, and improve your life. Each week, I'm going to highlight ordinary people in our communities who do extraordinary things. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of R&D with KD. I am your host, Kalhiel Dillard. Today, I'm joined with Stratton Brown. Our guest is an entrepreneur, investor, and former Fresno State football player. He is also the host of the Winning Move podcast. He's the CEO of a company of Call Magicians, a company that provides leads for your real estate wholesale business. Stratton, thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me on, bro.
No problem. A little bit before we jump in, a little bit about Stratton. I want to share a story about you. You and I, one of the first interactions that I think that I had with you, it was last year around the tailgate. It was me, you, and Frank Delana. I believe we were all just chopping it up. I had expressed to you something about goals, and then you asked me. You said, "Why aren't they bigger?" And, and I remember you were like, "Why aren't they bigger? They could be bigger." And I remember in that moment, I was like, I was a little pissed off, and I was like, "Yeah, like fuck you," in my head, how you can get in the moment. But then as I calmed down, I was like, "Fuck, I really appreciate him being able to hold me accountable and knowing that I can achieve more and do better." And, at times in my life, being an entrepreneur, it can be a lonely road, but I'm just so fortunate to have older guys. You're not old, but older guys that I'm able to look up to in my real estate business or as an entrepreneur. And for you to give me that piece of feedback, in the moment I was pissed, but when I was able to cool down and see the other end of it, I really appreciated, that feedback. And then I went on, and then now I'm crushing bigger goals. And I always remember, your voice, why aren't they bigger? They could be bigger. And now, I own another business. I sold my last business. I've come so far since that last moment. And I really appreciate you for giving me the courage to go a little further. And you might not even remember that, but I wanted to share that with you.
Bro, I think we were drunk walking into the game.
Yeah.
I wish someone would have told me that at the beginning. I went on Steve's Trang's podcast the other day, and I was like, "What is your biggest mistake so far?" It's like that I didn't shoot significantly bigger at the beginning. If I would have shot a lot bigger, with what we're doing in one of our companies now, it's numbers that I wouldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
And if I would have thought about doing this, let's say, 5 years ago, I would have gone after different opportunities. And because it's, again, the same amount of effort. If Mark Zuckerberg's working on Facebook and you're working on fucking wholesaling, and you guys spend the same amount of years doing the same thing, Mark Zuckerberg has significantly more leverage than you, and he has a bigger opportunity to hit a certain amount of scale. Obviously, you're not going to take a company public, and not everybody's going to. A lot of startups fail, but if you're going for it, you might as well go big because, bro, we're only 20 for a certain amount of time, right? When you start having kids, bro, then time really gets fucking collapsed and we can't do as much as we want to. So I'm glad it helped, bro, because that was the point of it.
And now you are a young father as well. How does being a young father, continue to motivate you as you are in pursuit of higher goals? How does your son motivate you to achieve more in your business?
I don't say my son motivates me. My son makes me stay on my shit. I need to raise a man, so I need to be a man. And kids don't learn from teaching; they learn by example, right? And so he needs to learn from me working hard, leading people the right way, treating people the right way. But I'd say it's more of him keeping me off my bullshit, me not being a fuckboy going out and blowing money in Miami, or all that other stuff that I could go be doing at this point in time in my life. But I wouldn't say my son motivates me. Because I got past that motivation point when me and Zeno were really, really broke. And there is motivation when you get into the game. It's just fucking a part of it. Then there's drive and I'd say ambition. Ambition doesn't come from children. Ambition comes from 100% ego. The dude, let's say Elon Musk is not driven by his children. Elon Musk is driven by changing the world. So then you got to think about it that way.
So how did growing up impact your life now? Tell us a little bit more about your background, your early life, and what that was like for you.
Growing up, so I grew up in a really small town called Bluffdale, Utah. Like I had a stoplight and grew up Mormon as fuck. I used to be able to ride horses up into the hills, and I grew up with a really strong work ethic from my parents. Both my parents were entrepreneurs. And then in like end of middle school, high school, I kind of moved out of my house, and I lived with my best friend, and his father was an entrepreneur, and he helped me out a lot as well as far as like thinking, problem solving, and then work ethic. So I'd say everything from my childhood really, from what it turned me into today, between sports and surroundings, was just like, well, you need to outwork everybody.
Absolutely.
And then I'd say figure out problems too. Like figure out problems. And then I didn't really start even thinking about business. My first quote unquote business was in college when I started mounting people's TVs for them. Because like nobody knew how to use tools. And I was like, bro, you fucking kids don't know how to use tools? And nobody knew how to like mount a TV. I was like, what the fuck do you mean, bro? Go get a fucking stud finder, like put some holes in the wall and just get this bitch done. And so nobody knew how to do it. And so I'd like charge like $20 to $50 to do it. And so that was like my first business.
Did you make good money off that?
Nah, I mean, it wasn't even about money. I was like, fuck, bro, I don't want. All right, you want me to do it? $50. Some people took it, other people didn't, because I remember I was like the first person to like mount it, and I posted on like my Snapchat. And this goes like, wait, because I feel like majority of what we do now is either telemarketing or social media marketing. I posted on like my Snapchat saying like, yeah, I got my fucking TV up on the wall. I'm playing Destiny, bitches. You know what I'm saying? And everybody saw like, hey, bro, who did that for you? Like, oh, no, I did it. Oh, can you do it for me? And then I did it for my boy Damari, and then I started charging people.
Yeah, I feel like my upbringing as a child in Modesto really instilled in me the value of working hard. I feel like all the businesses that I've ever started or even contributed to, I know that I can do them because I know that I can work hard. And as long as I can outwork either other people who are in that industry or just one person to the point where I can get a deal, I feel like I'll always be successful. So even when I started the water slide business, it wasn't about the money. It was because I knew that I could work harder than everybody else, outwork everybody, and then still be home by 1 o'clock and make a nice amount of money. So for me, it was about time, how quickly can I do something, and how hard I could work. And then I actually had to sell that business, the equipment, because once I let go of that business, other people weren't working as hard as me. I had to bring in employees. And so
that goes into like leadership and like how can you build culture in a company.
Exactly.
And, like, those core values and everything else. And
so as I was making a lot of money, I had to think to myself, how much do I actually want to grow this thing? You know, how much do I want to grow this thing? And is it sustainable to the actual goals that I really want and that I really want to focus on? So I had to make that transition out. But once again, going back to our conversation about having bigger goals, you know, it was understanding that when it's time to make that transition and do the next thing and things that continue to support, you know, where you're going in life, you know, eventually you're going to have to move on from things. And I've been experiencing a transition in my life as an entrepreneur where I'm not really doing much. I'm just going to work, focusing on my craft, separating myself from negative things. Have you had a moment in your life where you had to do the same, where you had to sit down and focus and really focus on your life, your business, maybe your family, or even yourself?
I feel like that's all like when you're like truly in the zone and like you start going hard, that's like all you're doing. It's just like, because, and it's not you cutting people off. I mean, call it the universe, call it God. You are operating in a different vibration and you're like at a completely different frequency, different cadence than all the people around you. And then you don't have things to talk with them about anymore. Right? When I'm talking about, hey, we're trying to get this company to 20 million this year, like I can't talk to my friends about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like what I'm thinking about, what I'm solving every day aren't conversations I can have with them unless it's around sports. Then I can't even really talk about sports because I'm going to get bored. Right? And so it's not ever like purposefully cutting people off. Like at a point in time, I didn't talk to my parents because they told me to get a job. But then that was like a very like clear cut line. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Like I am already facing enough negative self-talk and negative energy. I'm not going to talk to you and have you compound onto that. Right. And so then I didn't talk to my parents, but still my parents are probably the most supportive people in my life right now.
And I bet you still love them in that moment, even though you had to take a step back and disconnect from them then.
Yeah. I mean, I just knew what I had to do. And it was really just like, I don't need the negative energy. I already have enough demons I'm fucking battling every day. Like, oh, fuck, how are we going to pay this bill? How are we going to get this deal closed? How are we going to get here? How are we going to get there? To where I'd say that was the only time I cut people off. As far as like friends and everything else, it was more, I'm not going out and doing these things with them anymore because like we have a priority. Like toward the last 2 days, bro, I'm at my laptop upstairs until 12 at night. Then I wake up at fucking 5. I can't go and do things with my friends or like people like, hey, bro, you're going to come out this weekend? Like, bro, I got to work. They're like, what are you working on? Like, we got a lot of shit to do. And it's what I enjoy. Like, I like building stuff. Like, I love Legos and Minecraft, right? And so all work is to me is like I get to just play with like Minecraft that's going to like make my life better.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. And speaking on work, what's something that we should be talking about, but most people aren't right now? It can be in any industry, real estate, investment. What should people be talking about right now, but they aren't?
As far as like the overall business?
Overall business, yep.
I'd say building teams and building culture. Because you can only get so far on your own, dude.
Absolutely.
Like, so like you're like, yeah, I hired on all these people and then nobody worked. But like you hear all these podcasts of like people doing deals in the real estate space. You don't do, the only difference between the first wholesaler and the wholesaler who's doing, say, $1 million a month, there's not a lot of them, by the way, are their leadership skills and their ad spend. It's the only difference. All the methods work. This, how good can you lead your team? And then how much you spend on marketing.
What are common traits that you see, what are common leadership traits that you see for people that are building teams?
Common leadership traits. You got to care about your people. And you really got to hold the line. I'd say that's the biggest thing. Like you care so much about your people, and like you got to push them to go to the next level. Like, cause like you're developing people. Like we're growing people internally. We aren't just like bringing in people. Like no, like I got to bring in a people, and then I got to continue growing so I can help them and coach them to continue growing, so they grow as a human. Absolutely. To where anyone who comes in our company, I want them to come into any one of our companies and they can leave and go get another job and like, oh, you worked there, you're fine. Like they left with the skills that they need to be successful, the disciplines, the traits, all that, and it came from us helping them grow as a human.
And how are you continuing to develop out your own leadership skills as a leader in your own businesses? You're doing 20 million plus in your businesses, so how are you continuing to become a better leader?
How am I continuing to become a better leader?
Or a better leader, or build better habits?
Fuck, meditate. Because I feel like I have a pretty quick fuse. And so I gotta like watch myself with that. And then lots of books. And then I try and think about how can I give people more opportunities. Right? And so we started another company, let's say up in, what is that, September. And I talked to one of our guys and another one of our companies like, hey, I want to make more money. I was like, bro, the only way you're going to make the amount of money you want to make is in your sales position. Like, I got to be real with you. Like, in the spot you're at now, you're not going to be able to make that happen. I was like, we cannot, this company is not growing exponentially to make that happen, right? Because like, you'd have to keep getting hourly raises, blah, blah, blah. And so I kept that in mind. And then I was like, okay, hey, we're starting this new one. I was like, who? And I thought about him instantly. I was like, okay, I have a need for a sales guy. And I put him there. And then now I'm helping him reach his financial goals. And that still goes into leadership because I know what's like makes him tick. I know what his why was. Like I know what he wants to use the money for and everything else. And so that's kind of like what plays into that as far as that goes. But as far as developing as a leader, I'd say books and then trial and error. And then I talk to mentors too. Like, yeah, I just ran into this situation. We had our COO steal 6 figures from us in one of our companies. And so that one was Was
he a mentor of yours? Or let me ask you this. How have mentors impacted your life? And how can someone attract a mentor? Like, what are the things that they should be doing?
I'd say pay them and then implement what they tell you to do. So like me and Jake started talking last year. Was it last year, 2 years ago? Year and a half ago?
Year and a half ago.
Like a year and a half ago, but like 2021. But then so like we just started talking, then Jake started asking questions. And then he'd implement. Then he'd ask questions, then he'd implement, then ask questions, then implement. And then still, like, I'll make time to talk to Jake, even though I'm really busy. Like, Jake, we got to talk today because I think this is going to help you grow your business.
Can you elaborate more on the pay them part? Because even for me, I remember being younger, I think I wasn't caught up in paying people because I couldn't afford it, one. But now that I do have a little bit of change, I know how important it is to have access to other people, and that I might just have to pay for that access. Or not even I might. I will have to pay for access if I want to see people. You know, so can you elaborate why it's important to get rid of that mindset of you shouldn't have to pay for someone's time or or someone's attention?
I mean, how much do people spend to go to college, bro? Like,
exactly.
I'm paying for a blueprint. I'm really paying for proximity. And this comes from my mentor and like, let's say masterminds. In a mastermind I'm in right now, 2 dudes are going to hit 9 figures this year. Right. And like, I'm by far the smallest person in that room, like a little bitch in that room. At least you're in it though. Right. But like, I don't say a word when I'm there, but I paid for that proximity to be there. And then I paid that mentor to help me with, I'm like, okay, so with Jake, he joined, let's say, a very specific video guy mastermind. And he learned that from me because like now I go and like, okay, what is the skill set that I need to learn? Who do I think is best doing that right now? Who fits like my core values and everything else? All right, sweet. I vetted him out. Now I go pay him. That is probably the best way to go do it.
Absolutely. How have mentors impacted your life?
I mean, I feel like they've changed my life completely. I mean, I probably would have made it without Alan Folio, but it would have taken a lot longer. At the beginning, like in real estate, Mark Evans has helped me a ton over the last couple of years. Even like my parents, my friend's dad. Bro, I have so many different mentors. Like, you should be learning from everybody. And like so there's a really, really insanely successful guy who goes to our cigar lounge, Mosfino. And he goes on a certain day of the week. And whenever I'm in town, I know what time he goes there. So I can go over there and I can talk to him because I just want to ask him questions.
Does he mind?
I don't know. Okay.
At least you're there.
I mean, at least I'm there. I just want to see what he thinks about. I want to see what he talks about. Like, I'm more interested. That's why I have a podcast. So I can bring on people I'm interested in learning from, talking to. How do you operate? What's going on? How did you grow? What are the bottlenecks you encountered? Like, what do you encounter now? Like, what are your issues? And at this point, that dude's richer than God. So I don't know what issues he has. It's probably just what does he do with all of his money? But then, like, I want to learn from all those things. And so it's going to be a mixture of paying people. And, like, Jake doesn't pay me. But I never paid Alan, but I worked for Alan for a year and a half. And then, like, I got that essential MBA in real estate. And I've paid other people, and I haven't paid other people.
Now, switching gears a little bit, because there's something that I really wanted to talk to you about. You just recently bought a storage facility?
Yeah.
Was it? How was that experience for you? I know I'm in communities where people are actively looking for these deals, but you actually got one. So I really wanted to the audience to hear your story of how you bought one. Aren't you in escrow on another one now as well?
Yeah. So we just bought one that was 22,000 square feet.
Congrats on that too, man. Like, honestly, when I seen that, I'm like, damn, he really went out and bought a storage unit. Like, you're honestly one of those people who, if I see you doing something, for one, I know it's coming soon. It's coming. So you better be on, like, you're a doer. And so I try to be the same way, proactive about it. And that was really inspiring, man. I felt I seen you post about, you and your girl looking for him. And then one day you got one. I'm like, damn, he got one. Then the next day, and we're in escrow on another one. That was cool stuff, man. Yeah, that was really fun. I mean, it took a year and a half, 2 years for that too. Of like probably north or south of like 80 to 100 grand of fucking bullshit mentorship, expenses, inspections and shit like that, and 3 different falling out escrows. But most people would again give up. Yep, absolutely.
And be like, oh no, it's not it. To where like we just kept shelling out cash every month. But like we're gonna get it. Like it's not like we're gonna stop. Like this is what we want to do. I know it works. I know I'm following the blueprint. If I am doing something, I have people in my corner now to like, no, just keep doing your thing, you're fine. And so we kept doing it, we kept marketing, and then okay, we got one. Sweet, now we got another one. Yeah. Sweet, we always got a verbal on a small town too that me and Kyle are gonna buy.
Well, a whole city is
so it's 33 trailer park units, an 18-unit motel, 7 rentals, a bar, a convenience store, and 50 storage units.
Where is this?
Nevada.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That's big stuff. The whole town.
I mean, it's the majority of it. I mean, there's still like other stuff
out there. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's still
What's this deal run?
We're getting it owner financed.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a crazy deal, I'm not gonna lie.
So I'm actually a proponent of so my business model, one of my business models when it comes to buying businesses is I look for just how you're looking for owner finance deals. I look for mom and pop businesses, usually, baby boomers who are looking to sell their businesses. And those are the businesses that I'm looking to buy because for one, I know that they probably are very profitable, either been mismanaged or can add some new leadership technology, as we were talking about earlier, to that business to drive more revenue. So just just like with the vending machine business that we just bought, an existing business for 30 years, very profitable. The owners wanted to retire. Kids didn't want to work that business. Get it owner finance. We have to come up with very little to become, big players in that game. But like you said, most people stop looking for opportunities, or I even realized most people aren't looking for big enough opportunities. Like
that one's a big one, because like you'll have these opportunities come across your plate to where when I called the guy for like this, like for all those units, I was like, do you want to sell those storage units? He's like, no, I want to sell the whole thing. I was like, sweet. Like, how much is it? I was like, what is it? Like, what does it entail, to where other people wouldn't even know what to do with it? Right? To where I just had like my eyes open, like, okay, no, we can go raise the cash. Like, we'll be fine on this. To where like I see it that way, to where even right now, if I got $100 million deal come across my plate, it'd be really hard because my mindset wouldn't be there. Like, as far as like $100 million apartment complex. Like, I have dudes in my circle who I could help me take it down, but like I had to get there. Like, if you're just getting going and like somehow it falls in your lap, you wouldn't even be mentally prepared on like how to handle it.
Absolutely. And I think that it's important as an entrepreneur to know where you are in your journey. I think that if you're the kind of guy who wants those big deals, great, but you also need to be making those strides, putting yourself in positions to become that guy as well. So that's why I'm always trying to put myself in positions of development and growth and growing, just like yourself as well. But I want to talk about some of your sports career as well. How have sports impacted your life?
Sports, I mean, they've played a role. I feel like my background with my parents, like my close family friends, have played a role. And then sports, it showed me, because like I'm really not that athletic.
Were you not?
No.
I've never seen you play. So
no, I mean, I really wasn't that. I was probably like the least athletic DB. All the DBs knew it. I just watched more film. Like, and I kind of like willed myself to be a good football player, to even my defensive coordinator was like, yeah, bro, like, you're not good. Just know where you need to be. He's like, do whatever you want, but like, you're smart enough because you've watched enough film to where you know where you need to be. And it showed me that if I work hard enough at something, I can develop a skill that I want. Right? So let's say anything else comes up in my life, to where over the last little bit, I've had to learn how to do this fucking coding shit a little bit, because I wanted to learn it, and I didn't want to pay someone because I'm too cheap. But I was like, yeah, if I just keep working at it, like, I'm going to get it. Like, I'll figure out how to do it, and I'll be rudimentary enough to like get what I need done. And I got quite a bit done this weekend. And so it shows you how to do these things. I'm like, okay, I just work at it for 6 months. Awesome, I'm there. All right, sweet. What's the next one I need to learn? Because all entrepreneurship is learning more and more skills, mastering those skills, and then teaching those skills and then passing them off. Absolutely. Or hiring on those skills. And then you're still going to have to show those people who you hired on with, like, let's say, a hard skill or soft skill, and you're going to have to lead them and then show them how to lead even better. Right? But it's just one after another, after another, after another, until even as a football player, as a corner, let's say, like, I had to learn how to backpedal. All right, now I got to learn ball skills. All right, now I got to stack that on. Okay, now I need to learn how to really tackle. Awesome, now I got that. Now I need to learn how to really disguise, right? And then, like, you were just stacking skills to be the best possible entrepreneur or player that you can be.
Absolutely. Now, how have some of those skills translated into being a father?
Into being a father. I mean, just tell my son not to be a bitch.
I know you're raising a tough kid, man. I see it on Instagram all the time, and that really hits home for me because I was raised in a single parent household without a dad. So to see other men take pride in being a dad, to see other black men take pride in being a dad, black, brown men, whatever.
I refuse to be another black American dad story.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's why when I see you showing love and care for your son and really showing him how to be a man, like, you know, that's what makes me even like you more and want to wish you the best and want the best for you in business and everything. So I think that's great what you're doing with your son.
Thank
as well. How do you handle adversity or problems when it comes to business?
All businesses is adversity.
Adversity and problems. Yeah. How do you get through it? I know we had talked about recently about cold therapy and things like that. Are you using that as like for meditation, or what are you using that for?
I just use that so I don't have to drink coffee.
Really?
How do I get through adversity and problems? I tell myself a lot, I'm built for this shit. Because if you don't tell yourself that, nobody's going to tell you that.
Did you go through anything in life that made you feel like that you were like built for it? I tell myself that I'm big on Goggins because I know it's
wild.
Yeah, it's wild, but his story is so real, and I resonate with real shit because I've also been through some real shit to where like I'm built for this. It hits hard because I know that a lot of people, they might not really be built for how hard and fucked up the world could actually be, and so to grind every day, like I take pride in it because for me, I know that I have people that depend on me back at home, or who care about my well-being. But I take the grind serious. But why do you? What experiences make you feel like that you're built for it? Or
I mean, shit, bro. I can't tell you how many. I mean. I've had times where I've had to just like figure out how to make payroll, right? So like, hey, there's no money coming. What are we gonna do to go make money? I've had times where it means we're legitimately homeless because the person we were supposed to move in, who was a really close friend of mine, said no, I'm moving in somewhere else, and it means I had shit credit, and I didn't have any money, and I didn't have anywhere to go, right? And so like I figured that out. Like I've been through a lot of different situations to where I figured it out, and I've gotten through it to where other people would have given up.
Absolutely.
I'd say that's the biggest thing. And like I wouldn't even my childhood wasn't hard. Like I feel like I had really good parents. Yeah, my dad was a cunt a lot of the times, but whose dad isn't, you're just gonna go through a lot. Absolutely. And if you don't even if your life has been easy and you're a fucking daddy's boy and you're fucking inheriting your parents' money, if you don't tell yourself that, I'm gonna bury you anyways.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have to tell yourself that as you get into the realm and stuff gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Even if as soon as you enter the game. All right, so I remember feeling this when I first got in. Let's say there's a redshirt freshman or like a true freshman who gets in and like, oh, he's only a freshman. But you're in the game. I don't give a fuck how old you are. Like your job is to be the best, right? And so that's how I approach things. And yeah, there's been all sorts of stuff that's happened, and I've made it through it. And then reading Shoe Dog made me feel really good.
Shoe Dog.
It's Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. And essentially Nike was on like the brink of bankruptcy for like 15, 20 years at the beginning. And so I was like, okay, I don't suck that bad at times. Because like, bro, he just figured it out. Yeah. Like it is an amazing book to read as an entrepreneur to see. Like Phil Knight, bro, would have like $1 million going out and there was nothing in the bank account. Like just crazy shit. And he still figured it out.
I feel like that's a reality that a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about, especially on podcasts. I feel like it's good when it's good, but at the same time, like I've had times where I've had to navigate my own personal life and business. A lot of my business is personal as well, but navigating it both at times for me has been challenging to where it's hard for me to find community, but you're out there building a community of people who support each other here locally and abroad with some of the speaking engagements that you do. So let's talk about some of your experiences with speaking and building communities here in Fresno. Some of the networking events that you have here as well.
Speaking, so the events. I remember I started it when I broke off from Alan. Me and Alan had, he was like, bro, just take it. And so I hosted like a couple people came, then I hosted one a couple months later and nobody came. And that happened like twice. And I'd like call Kalani like 30 minutes in, like, yeah, these fuckers ain't coming, I'm coming home. And that one was hard. But then like building it up and then just bringing in speakers, like, and that helped out a lot in building that community. And now we have just an amazing community of people here in the Central Valley. And I'd say that's come from, me and Jason really got it from like Pace and Jamil and Steve and Jesse over in Phoenix. And we just wanted to implement the same thing. Because like we're all friends, like we're all competitors, but then we didn't want to be assholes. And then building a community of like entrepreneurs, like my mastermind. Because like we have our community, but then you still want people you can lean on to where when something does happen, you actually have like a group of dudes who are going through it who you can reach out to and be like, hey, what do you do to solve this issue? Like I've never been through this. And you can do it in confidence, and it might be embarrassing to the outside world, but then I guarantee you someone in that circle has been through it. Yeah. And so that's what's really good about that. And so that's like that tight-knit community. As far as the overall Fresno Central Valley real estate community, I still think we have a really tight-knit community.
Absolutely.
Because like we all help each other. We even have a group chat on Instagram. Toward this morning, it was going off because like they were wondering like, hey, how do we do this on a certain contract? And then 6 different people hopped in and said like, hey, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we do, this is what we do. And it was like free to where like a new person, that is really, really hard to get access to something like that, to where it's like disclosures and contracts and everything else. If you're new, bro, you don't know what the hell to do.
And you don't know how many people I've seen come to some of your networking events or some of the events that the group puts on who have continued to thrive and flourish throughout their career, or who get deals from going to these events as well. So I think that's the important part about being involved in your community is you get the opportunity to network with other individuals who are doing exactly what you want to do, or maybe and possibly at a larger scale than what you're already currently doing. So I definitely encourage everybody to go out into these events, have a sense of community, network, meet new people, to definitely grow their business. I definitely wanted to plug that because I'm starting to do some things as an entrepreneur here locally as far as throwing events, speaking engagements where I want others to come and network and collaborate with each other and find a sense of community. Because like I said earlier, I know for me, I have people to look up to, you know, on social media, but everybody's busy. And I understand how much a sense of community can change how you feel about attacking the day. Exactly. And I know when I woke up this morning, or even our conversations leading up to this podcast, you know, as my preparation was different just because I knew the people that I was communicating with were preparing the same way as well. Yeah, absolutely. Dude, we've been jamming through here. So, what's something that you or your team have recently achieved that you're really proud of?
Oh, what's something my team has recently achieved that I'm proud of? Closing on that facility was a good one. Getting the other two ones was a good one.
What's your? So I know you're doing some wholesaling as well. Now you're buying the storage units, but what's after the storage units? I know you're thinking of something else probably.
Yeah, so we have an affiliate marketing company that's doing pretty well right now. That one's really exciting. The storage, my goal is to buy 70,000 square feet this quarter. I got to buy 2 more to hit that. Damn. Well, this quarter? 2 or 3 more. Yeah, this quarter. I mean, because and I don't believe in yearly goals, but then you still got to break them down to a quarter just so, there's urgency there. Yeah, a year, you can't fathom a year, bro. But you can fathom a quarter, oh, fuck, bro, at the end of March, we got to be fucking somewhere.
What does creating that urgency do for you?
You got to act with a lot of urgency. So in our affiliate marketing company, we only have a 2 to 3 year runway to make as much money as humanly possible. And so it made me realize that we aren't executing fast enough. And so the urgency is a really big deal because the faster we can execute and get things implemented, the better. Which is we can have all these ideas, but then if nobody's really executing on them fast, it's really hard. And that might be you as a solo entrepreneur to hey, we got to build out the system, or it's the team and you have a bunch of staff underneath you hey, what's going on with this rock? What's going on with this rock? All right, are they done? Awesome. All right, let's meet again. Let's knock out these next projects so we can keep things moving forward. But yeah, I'd say our team made, it's projected revenue, but we hired on a group of people and we have projected revenue of $9,000 in the first day. So that's really good.
Damn. It sounds like you know where your time's being spent in your business. How do you know when it's appropriate to implement leverage into your business, especially your real estate business, wholesale business, whatever business? How do you know when it's time to go and hire out help or seek the right help?
So, now with our wholesale business, I'm not really involved. We have 2 different partners, Dean Rogers and Max Jimenez. And all we do is generate leads and manage the leads. Then we send them to them to close and sell. And the reason I did that, I was okay, I'm hitting scale in another company. I can't really, we were at 100 plus employees at that point, and I was I can't really manage both. So what's the way I can still achieve it while getting what I want? And then, so that's what our wholesale company looks like. But then as far as leverage, I think what are your goals? Because bro, there's dudes who have multi-million-dollar companies and have 0 employees, and they're just really good at coding. Even now with OpenAI and social media, bro, you could make something pretty crazy, and you don't need to have any employees, and the leverage is AI. Right? So you got to think about it one way. The way I've implemented my type of leverage, and this is the reason I want to learn coding, and I got this from Hormozy. He's you can either have people, money, or software. Right? And so I have a lot of labor capital for leverage, and then a little bit of coding, and then some money. And then right now we're implementing coding and money and people, right? So it's a mixture. Yeah. But so it all depends on what you're trying to achieve, what the business model is and everything else, because you're not going to get right now you're not going to get a whole lot of leverage out of like software and real estate unless you're going to be like a SaaS company.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it really is, what is your goal to achieve? What vertical are you in? And that's how I would implement it. If you're at the beginning, the easiest way to do it is like with a virtual assistant. If you know any type of coding though, I'd tell you to fucking code first. I'd tell you to like write up something. Like I had to write up something the other day.
How do you ask questions? Sorry.
Nope.
How can you scale your business as an entrepreneur with a VA? Because I know you were big on VAs for a period. You might still be as well.
Yeah, I mean, we own a VA company. How can you scale your business with a VA? I mean, it's really just another employee in another country, and they just have a lower wage rate, but you still get really good talent. And so you just write out a job description and go hire them. Like, I'm not very good. I'm not the detail-oriented person like I am at a certain level, but it's more of like, hey, here's what I need done. Here's the metrics that I'm going to judge you on. I don't care how you get it done. Here's the baseline. Go do it.
So I recently started using ChatGPT for some things in my business, just messing around with it. But the amount that I've got done that other people haven't done in their business so far, like I know that I've been able to create so many things as far as Twitter threads that I didn't have or scripts that I needed for a different business that I'm doing. But it just altered how quickly I can do things, and things that I would have ultimately had to hire out, I was able to do them quicker. But I could have just sat down and done the work, but just because I'm informed, why would I? And just because I'm informed about technology, I know other entrepreneurs who haven't even checked it out, So are you using OpenAI in your business, or how do you intend to use it in your business moving forward?
Over the last week, I've had to tie together like a series of like Google Sheets, CRMs, and other softwares, and I've used ChatGPT for the whole thing. I've been like, okay, so like, what does that look like? What's the code for that? What's the formula for that? And like, I'd be like, okay, I wanted to do this. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I can like utilize AI more. Because like now, bro, it's gotten so crazy to where, and I'm working on this. I was like, okay, this is how powerful ChatGPT is. I was like, okay, ChatGPT, I want a software that can go on Instant Street View, identify what a self-storage facility looks like from Google Earth, and then with machine learning, tell me which ones are self-storage facilities, pull the address, put the address in PropStream, and then make a list for me. And so it shot me out all the codes. And I was working on this for like 3 weeks. So now I need to go get an actual coder because like there's a bug and I can't find the bug. But bro, I was like, okay, so you're going to use TensorFlow, then you're going to use this. This is how you're going to make it train on, this is how you're going to train it on the right images to select, and like everything. And so if it can do that for me, bro, it can do a lot of other stuff, especially if you know a little bit about coding. Like you're going to take shit off.
Absolutely. I think for even the young entrepreneur that's just getting started, the amount that you can accomplish in such a short time as an entrepreneur nowadays, I always tell people like who say, I want to do this, I want to do that. There are so many resources for you to just get out there and go and do it. Like ChatGPT, you can start a whole marketing business using that service. And as long as you know how to market, run advertisements, you know, you can find a customer and get paid. I guarantee you can probably do that in a week. But just people aren't willing to take that next step. What advice do you have for people who might be on the brink but are afraid to take that next step?
Oh, afraid to take that next step. I don't do well with those people who are afraid.
Yeah.
I just tell them just to do it. Because like either do it or don't, your life's going to suck either way.
Absolutely.
Like your life's going to suck if you stay where you're at, and your life's going to suck for a little while you work hard until it gets off the ground. Like pick which suck you want. One of them has a possibility of a positive outcome. The other one is just a consistent outcome, but you know what it is. So like, which one are you going to choose? And then are you going to bet on yourself?
Absolutely.
Generally, I'm always betting on myself to create what I want.
That was great, man. I think that sometimes what keeps me motivated can be different things. Whether it's been I've had times where I've been broke as hell, and fear motivates me. But I think that a lot of the times, in order to get started, you just have to understand that if I don't, you know, what will happen if I don't? I'll always ask myself, what
is your worst case scenario if you do? And if you think, because I've really gone like balls to the wall, like learning about the tech world. And there's tons of dudes who have failed startups who do another one.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like they have a failed business, like, okay, fine. But like none of those skills go away, bro. You learned a whole bunch of shit. Yeah, you didn't hit this at bat. Bro, just go start a new one. Like, take care of everybody who was with you. Make sure no bridges are burned. Everybody got paid. And just go start a new one, because generally if you're an entrepreneur, you're just going to keep getting idea after idea after idea, and you're going to get to a point where now I have to exercise restraint. Like, oh yeah, we got this business opportunity. We got this business opportunity. Like, bro, like, stick to like one. Stick to one, and then like decide, or maybe like you're going to be venture capital. Like, I think that's what you want to do is like venture capital. We just like buy them up, but then that's still like a single business model. Then you're even going to go into a niche. Like, hey, we specialize in this area and doing this. And that.
Now you said focus on one. Now, how can you identify what skills you can that you should be focusing on?
Communication skills, I think, is always going to get you paid. Like, sales skills is always going to get you paid, and then either sales skills or I'm really big on fucking coding skills. I really am. Like, I'm really big on, like, if you want to build something that can work forever.
It's got to be yours.
It never complains, and it just runs. Like, if you actually build a legitimate software, my richest friends in the real estate space own SaaS companies.
Really?
Yeah. Like, so I know the dudes who own Batch. They used to be wholesalers. They're not wholesalers anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't do that. And one of them doesn't code. The other one does. And the other one, so there's 3 partners in that. And
so the money's in the software.
Money's in a business that can scale. So you, as a wholesaler, you get into wholesaling to make money, but then the only way you're going to make wealth is like buying a bunch of stuff, right? So Jason, like, yeah, he makes a ton of active money in flipping. You should always do that. We always wholesale. We have these other active businesses that make us money. But then, bro, during COVID, he made a ton of money off of refinances. And then now, like, okay, I can buy these storage facilities. All right, now I can go buy other businesses. And so it's a mixture of both of them. And I think you should, what's the best way to put this? Transactional is awesome, but wholesaling is only transactional. You want something that's going to pay you forever. Right? So, like, what can I build that's going to just pay me forever over time? Those houses are always going to pay you. Those apartments are always going to pay you. The storage facility is always going to pay you as long as you're doing your due diligence the right way. And then that's going to help you build up wealth, and you can just keep taking that money and reinvesting it, reinvesting it, reinvesting it.
Absolutely. Let's see. Sorry. 47? Yep. Cool. What do you think is the most important thing that you've learned in your life so far about being a father or a person?
Most important thing that I've learned. This one's stupid, but treat others how you want to be treated.
Is that why you have so much high passion and energy?
No, I just think I had a bunch of coaches in college who I wanted to fucking beat their ass.
My brother actually fought one of our high school coaches.
I almost fuck Nick Toth. I fucking hate him. He's like one of the worst people I've ever met in my life, and I wanted to beat his ass. But the reason was I didn't like the way he talked to me or treated me. And so him at the beginning, the biggest thing I got from Fresno State was how to not be a leader.
Really?
So over that 3-year span, and Jake can talk to Frank about this, but it was an absolute shit show. I think we were the worst run organization in America, period. Fucking small businesses, college football, NFL. Just dog shit. Damn. Just dog shit overall. Like, we had a good strength coach, and then there's like a couple good coaches there who were good people, but the head coach, amazing dude, but he didn't lead us very well. And then the 2 D coordinators didn't lead well either, and all they did was just fucking bring people down and just trash them. Right? And so I was like, well, how does this person make me feel? Do I want, I don't even want to be around this, but like, I'm not happy to come to work. And if you're not, I'm scared to like go out on the field. And so if I have all those things in my head, now looking back at it, I was like, well, bro, you could have gotten a lot more out of these people if you would just encourage them. Absolutely. And then when you're like, hey, bro, we got to pull you out, and you're not dog trashing them, you're not doing anything else, like, bro, you just didn't cut it. And then you could set up a standard. If a really good book on this is Ray Dalio's Principles, where it's like a meritocracy. It's like, bro, you just didn't meet the standard. You know what standard is. You didn't make the play. We got to move on. I love you. Go work some more. Right? Instead of like, you stupid piece of shit. What the fuck? Right? And then it's like, all right, bro, we got to fight. Right? Like, to where like there's 2 different things to where treat people how you want to be treated.
Man,
is fucking massive, bro.
I'm glad you brought that up because I recently ran into a situation in our vending business. We just bought this business, you know, it's brand new to us. We're going to our new locations, we're servicing them. A guy ended up, another black male, older, ended up snapping at my brother. My brother doesn't know him. He's in there doing his job, but it was so bad to the point where we're like, fuck this. We're getting our shit out of here and we're out. And I think the guy didn't know how serious we believe in respect and communication. And we picked up our equipment, and because we got a lot of machines, you know, taking out of one location is not going to hurt us. But the way that he talked to my brother and treated my brother, being another, you know, person of color, black male, you kind of just try to support, you know, like, God damn, brother, we see you working. But nah, hell no. It was just hostility. Yeah. And so the next day, you know, we go rent a truck, we come and pick our shit up, and now they're calling us back. We need more machines.
Nah, I tell them, bitch, fuck you, I'm gonna bury you.
Exactly. I think that's one of my biggest principles is just the respect and communication that people give each other. Like, always admire the work that you put in because you have respect for the game, respect for everything you do, and you can see that by how successful you are. I don't really think that bullshit people, or some bullshitters do make it far, but there's not people around them. You have great people supporting you that care about you, that want you to succeed, and that's visible. And I love that for you, and I love that you have that kind of support, because I think that that's the support that we're all looking for and that we all need. And I'm glad that I had a little bit of that growing up too, and that we know some of the same people. So just wanted to give some flowers to some people out there too.
Oh yeah, thank you, bro. But yeah, you need to bury that guy.
Yeah, man. But Strat, man, I know we're on some time. We're definitely going to run this one back because I want our audience to learn more about you and some of your sales skills. I know you're very high level when it comes to sales and training, and you put out a lot of information and knowledge on your Instagram and podcast. So I really want to run this episode back with you at a later time so we can really dive into some higher level stuff. But,
I'm not that good of a salesman, bro. I'm not going to blow.
Man, I think the stuff that you put out on your Instagram is really good. I know from some of your guests that you brought on, I've learned a lot from, and I love that you're putting out a ton of content for people, for entrepreneurs, and you know, I'm just blessed that you're in our area and I had the opportunity to bring you here. So just leaving off, if listeners want to get in touch with you, what are the easiest ways that they can get in touch with you? Where can they find you?
Best way to follow me on Instagram at StratDaddy. And then shoot me a text, 801-860-8032. And as you want to grow your brand more, I'd say I'm leaning into giving out my phone number more because I just want more opportunities.
Absolutely.
And then if someone's just fucking wasting my time, I don't have to text them back.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But like, just give out your number because now it's like more opportunities for people to talk to you. So yeah, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you.
And what kind of opportunities are you looking for?
We're always looking to raise more money for our real estate deals. I mean, if you want to join our mastermind, join our mastermind. If you have deals to sell, we can help you sell or we can buy them. I don't know. If you just need help, reach out to me, bro.
Absolutely. Well, Stratton, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate your time and look forward to having you again sometime.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Perfect. Thanks for watching today's episode. Make sure you like this video so more people can see more of this content. Subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Instagram at The Realtor KD. And we'll see you again next time.